In April 1940, the world was still staring west at the ruins of Poland, wondering where Germany would strike next. Most believed the next battle would be France, or maybe the Low Countries. But before Hitler moved south, he turned north. And in a single lightning operation, Germany overran two countries, Denmark and Norway, so fast and so surprisingly that the world barely understood what had happened until it was over. It wasn't just an invasion. It was the moment Germany proved it could strike anywhere, at any time, even across the sea. This is the story of Operation Weserübung, the attack on Scandinavia. Why Germany attacked? To understand why Germany launched this operation, you have to understand the two things Hitler feared most. First was the threat of losing Germany's iron ore supply. The German war machine depended heavily on Swedish iron, and that iron traveled through the Norwegian port of Narvik. If Britain managed to cut off that route, Germany's production of weapons, tanks, and ammunition would collapse. The second fear was the British Navy. Control of the North Sea meant everything. Hitler believed the Allies might move first and occupy Norway, giving Britain powerful naval bases right beside Germany's coastline. So Germany acted preemptively. The objective was simple but crucial. Secure Norway, neutralize Denmark, protect the Iron Lifeline, and outmaneuver the British before they could react. It was bold, risky, and unlike anything attempted in modern warfare. Denmark, the fastest campaign of the war. At dawn on April 9, 1940, Germany launched a sudden, overwhelming assault on Denmark. The Danish military was completely outmatched. German tanks crossed the border. Infantry seized key roads, paratroopers landed near vital positions, and warplanes flew directly over Copenhagen. Above the capital, German bombers circled menacingly, a clear warning that resistance would mean total destruction. Danish leaders understood the impossible situation. Any attempt to fight back would lead to thousands of civilian deaths, with no change in the outcome. Within just 6 hours, Denmark surrendered, marking the shortest campaign of World War II. But while Denmark fell almost instantly, the true battle, the one Germany had carefully prepared for, was taking shape further north. Norway, with its mountains and fjords, would not collapse so easily. The invasion of Norway begins. Norway presented a far tougher challenge for Germany. Its rugged mountains, deep fjords, long coastlines, and naval defenses made invasion extremely difficult. But Germany launched one of the boldest operations of the early war. Simultaneous landings at 6 major cities: Oslo, Kristiansand, Stavanger, Bergen, Trondheim, and Narvik. German warships moved through dark fjords to deliver troops directly into key locations. Meanwhile, paratroopers carried out the first large-scale airborne assaults in history, capturing airfields, bridges, and communication centers before Norwegian forces could fully respond. Some Norwegian units fought back heroically, while others were caught completely off guard, waking to find German soldiers already in their streets. The speed and coordination of the German assault shocked Norway and demonstrated a new style of warfare that few nations were prepared to handle. The fight for Oslo. The most dramatic moment of the campaign unfolded at Oslo. German naval forces attempted to push through the narrow fjord and capture the capital quickly. But guarding the approach stood the Oscarsborg fortress. Despite relying on cannons built in the 1800s, Norwegian defenders opened fire with deadly accuracy. One of their shells struck the German cruiser Blücher, which was carrying hundreds of soldiers, equipment, and key invasion documents. The blast set the ship ablaze and eventually sank it in the fjord. This unexpected victory bought Norway precious time. The delay allowed the government, military leaders, and the royal family to escape north before German troops could arrive. Their escape kept Norway's resistance alive for weeks, turning what Germany expected to be an easy, swift capture into a much longer and more complicated fight. Allied forces entered the battle. Britain and France stepped in, determined to support Norway and challenge the German advance. Allied troops landed at Namsos, Andelsens, and Narvik with hopes of pushing German forces back and stabilizing the front. Their soldiers fought bravely, but conditions were extremely challenging. Norway's terrain was steep and unforgiving, slowing movement and limiting heavy equipment. Freezing weather added constant danger, while communication between Allied units was often disorganized. German air power dominated the skies, bombing ports, supply lines, and troop positions relentlessly. Meanwhile, Germany used newly captured airfields to bring in reinforcements at incredible speed. Despite their commitment, the Allies struggled to coordinate effectively and remained consistently behind German momentum. Their inability to gain control of the air or overcome the harsh terrain made the campaign increasingly difficult. The Battle of Narvik. Narvik became the central battleground of the entire campaign. The port was crucial because it allowed Sweden's iron ore, essential for German weapons production, to reach the sea. Norwegian forces, joined by British and French troops, launched a determined counterattack. Against expectations, they pushed German forces back into the surrounding mountains and won several significant victories. For a brief moment, it appeared that Germany might lose control of the northern front. But global events changed everything. When France collapsed in June 1940, Britain had no choice but to withdraw its troops to defend the homeland. Churchill ordered a full evacuation from Norway. Once the Allies departed, exhausted German troops regrouped, advanced again, and retook Narvik. Securing the area ensured Germany's vital iron supply remained uninterrupted. Why Norway mattered. Germany's rapid victories in Denmark and Norway reshaped the early phase of World War II. With both countries under its control, Germany gained strategic dominance over the North Sea and positioned its navy and air force far closer to Britain. More importantly, the conquest protected the crucial Swedish iron ore shipments that flowed through Narvik, allowing German factories to continue producing weapons at full capacity. Norway also offered new naval bases, airfields, and observation points that improved Germany's ability to attack British ships and monitor Allied movements. The campaign showcased Germany's growing mastery of combined land, sea, and air operations. For the Allies, the defeat was a major setback, one that damaged morale, exposed weaknesses in planning, and served as a warning of the far more devastating losses soon to come in France. The invasions of Denmark and Norway weren't huge battles compared to what came later, but they were critical. They proved that Germany was willing to strike anywhere. They showed that speed could outshine size, and they gave Hitler the strategic north, resources, ports, and a massive coastline that would shape the rest of the war. For Denmark, it was a quiet tragedy. For Norway, it was weeks of fierce resistance. For Germany, it was a victory that stunned the world. And for the Allies, it was a warning they didn't fully understand until it was too late.